Hey everyone, it's me, Goku! Don't forget to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming. Here, you'll find the latest Dragon Ball news and content. Also, don't forget to like the video and follow Unreal on both Instagram and Twitter.
Kakarot! You, Kakarot, you will be the first to turn on notifications. And give this video a like right now, or else I'll destroy you!
And so it finally now looks as though it's all come down to this, as with the stage now set for Gohan to give it his all in finally putting Cellmax away for good, I can't help but wonder on if he can go and pull it off alone, because as chaotic and as intense as the battle on Earth may appear, it would also seem as though the battle here involving Goku and Vegeta is also coming to a close as well, and with all things now ending in the way they should, I wonder what kind of new adventures wait for us now that everything has finally reached its end.
As we kick off Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter number 100, the final chapter in the story of the retelling of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, with Beast Gohan finally having to be shown unleashing the power of the special beam cannon, now having to be translated into a different name known as the Light of Death, which interestingly enough, with the first few pages having to showcase a colored variation of the final battle involving Orange Piccolo, Beast Gohan, and Cellmax, the moment Beast Gohan's special beam cannon was shown having to collide against Cellmax's ultimate attack was when something very interesting was shown taking place, even for a moment by comparison to that of the film, and that was Beast Gohan was looking as though he was seemingly at a stalemate, and from that point being shown having to struggle in getting his beam to go directly through Cell's attack, which could either be interpreted in one of two ways, which that having to be number one, either Cellmax is a lot stronger than what we give him credit for, or number two, is that perhaps maybe Beast Gohan really isn't as strong as one would imagine, to which even with Gohan shown struggling and pushing the beam through, was when surprisingly enough, that was when from out of nowhere, Goten and Trunks were then shown having to circle back around, and from there being shown having to fly directly through and kicking Cellmax's hand away, because this was the hand that was used in pushing the attack into Gohan's, which had only then subsequently created room for Gohan to finally finish the job, as Krillin then went on to respond, "The boys, their fusion wore off," and this was the opportunity that Gohan was indeed looking for, in which with Gohan shown having to put even more power into his Makanko Senpo and now being able to fully pierce through Cellmax's attack, was when the end was essentially inevitable, with Gohan's attack being shown having to make contact with Cellmax's cranium, but it was only milliseconds just before contact was made was when Orange Piccolo was shown having to use both hands and keeping Cellmax's head still, which I do in my own opinion believe that this was a nice little addition in having to showcase more of the danger that Cellmax was in the story, but with the ending of this story being what it was, with the special beam cannon shown going directly through, we can now safely put to rest the threat level that was of Cellmax, with Gohan being shown having to finally defeat him, to which, similar to that of the film with Piccolo letting go as Cellmax's body was shown descending on down, this had not only marked the end of a long battle to begin with involving the Red Ribbon Army and their most dangerous android to begin with, but we also get to see a really cool shot of both Beast Gohan and Piccolo having to acknowledge the overall situation following Cellmax's initial defeat, but even then, similar to that of the film, it didn't seem as though it was over necessarily yet, because with Krillin having to acknowledge the overall situation with Cellmax being defeated was when Krillin then went on to respond, "They did it! It's over! Hey, he's gonna blow! Get moving!" Gamma 1 then went on to quickly shout, which right before everyone was shown having to take off and leaving before Cellmax was shown exploding, was where from out of nowhere all you saw was Orange Piccolo's giant hands be shown grabbing onto Goten and Trunks' cape before having to take off, which I think is a pretty funny thing considering that Piccolo was their teacher ever since they were kids, only for Cellmax to then be shown exploding and creating a gigantic burst of energy that nearly caught everyone if they hadn't had left, in which moments later, as soon as the explosion was then shown having to subside, was when Bulma went on to look out her window by then responding, well, it's a good thing that we didn't stick around, with Pan uttering, "The big monster's gone." Well, I do hope that everyone's okay, in which as Bulma was then shown seeing Pan laugh after looking outside the window, was when Bulma then went on to continue, "Well, I take it that they're just fine then?" In which back down below, similar to that of the film with Dr. Hedo and Gamma 1 still being shown having to be alive, was when all of the previous tension was now shown disappearing, only this time with Dr. Hedo and Gamma 1 suffering a great loss through Gamma 2, in which over on the other side with Pan looking for her dad and not knowing as to where he was when Pan then surprisingly stumbled upon none other than Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo in their final transformations, which comedically enough went on to startle Pan because she had never seen her dad or Piccolo look the way they did. But once of course they were shown powering back down was when Pan quickly leapt into Gohan's arms, with Piccolo then being shown looking on over and seeing what had happened with Gamma 1 and Dr. Hedo, was when Piccolo then went on to chime in, "Well, if anything, we couldn't have beaten that beast without their help," with Gohan responding, "Heck, and I wonder if Dad and Vegeta could have taken down that monstrous version of Cell too," with Piccolo responding, "And this is why I said that you can't afford to get rusty even during seemingly peaceful times, Gohan." "Oh, right, sorry. And what, if I may ask, was that final attack?" Piccolo questions, with Gohan responding, "It was supposed to be the light of death." "You called that the light of death?" Piccolo questions, with Gohan responding, "It's just a poor imitation, I guess." "Well, it was brilliant," Piccolo acknowledges, to which back over with Gamma 2 finally shown having to evaporate and being dusted into the sky, was where through his noble sacrifice it was acknowledged in the fact that without Gamma 2 that our heroes wouldn't have been able to do this, in which as Piccolo was shown having to approach from behind was when Piccolo then went on to ask, "So he's gone?" "Yes," Gamma 1 responds, "despite your best efforts to save him," with Piccolo asking, "So what exactly did he do back there?" with Gamma 1 having to respond, "That was all of his energy unleashed in one massive burst, and well, it paid off because that initially had weakened that monster," Gamma 1 continues. "Well, he really was a superhero," with Gamma 1 responding, "Thank you, as your efforts have saved the world as well." "Oh, it's all my fault," Dr. Hedo went on to utter. "I created Cell Max, and Gamma 2 paid for the price for my foolery." "I mean, they exploited you too," Krillin went on to then quickly chime in. "You didn't seem like a total villain before joining up with the Red Ribbon Army, you know," with Dr. Hedo shouting, "No, I should have known better. I did know better, but the allure of research funding was just too great." "Well, you've given androids a bad name, pal," 18 went on to then respond, with Bulma chiming in, "Honestly, it's a wonder that you survived all of this," with Dr. Hedo responding, "Right, well, you see, I've modified my skin and making it resilient against impacts." "Your actual skin?" Bulma questions. "Yeesh, so that makes my own skin crawl." "Well, like you didn't have your crow's feet removed," Trunks utters. "Hey, some things just need to stay put, Trunks." "So, and Goten, don't tell your mom about all of this, alright? Because if you did, then she'll tear me apart if she finds out that I dragged you into such a big battle," with Goten uttering, "Yes, ma'am." "So then, Dr. Hedo, right? What's your next move?" with Hedo standing up and responding, "Well, I'll go and turn myself and Gamma 1 into the authorities," with Krillin responding, "Well, now I know that the entire point of this investigation was to arrest you, but I'm having second thoughts at this point." "Right," Piccolo responds, "so why don't we call it water under the bridge then? And well, even though you're not exactly good, but you're not evildoers either." "But then, in that case, would Capsule Corporation be willing to hire Gamma and me?" Hedo then went on to quickly plead. "Oh, are you for real?" 18 went on to shout. "You can't be serious," with Krillin being shown pushing 18 back by responding, you're in no place to be asking for favors, okay, please." "Well, do you know anything about beauty treatments?" Bulma questions. Beauty, ma'am?" "Yeah, like making skin look younger," Bulma then questions. Naturally, I'm well versed in biology, and I do have a licensed practice in medicine, so that would be easy, yes." "Well, sure, yes, then perfect. Your talents are of real interest to my company then, and to me personally," Bulma responds. "Plus, you do in fact come with one heck of a bodyguard, and I can't have you out there conducting another dastardly plot, you know," with Dr. Hedo uttering, "No, of course not, and I have completely given that up," with Bulma questioning, "Well, any thoughts, Piccolo?" "Well, I'm not opposed, so better to use him than the Dragon Balls for your stupid wishes, Bulma." "Hey, that's enough out of you!" "Anyways, so that settles it then. You're hired," Bulma responds. Thank you so much," Dr. Hedo went on to then quickly respond. "Hey, Hey, be grateful too, you know. Yes, thank you, Gamma 1 utters. In which towards the very end, with Piccolo being shown looking on over towards Pan, with Pan having a giant smile on her face, it was only from out of nowhere, similar to that of the film, with Pan now shown demonstrating that she in fact could actually fly, was where this in fact was a very touching moment for everyone, considering the fact that this was the beginning of so much more for Pan to come, in which we're comparing where Pan was in the beginning in not knowing much to where at the end, with Pan now being shown having to be able to fly, was where this had only now become a sign for many more great things to come. However, unlike the film, it only had now seemed as though there were in fact a few survivors from the Red Ribbon Army, with number 15 and Carmine being one of many of them, was when 15 went on to ask Carmine, You hanging in there, Carmine, sir? With Carmine uttering, yes. Damn it all, the commander's dead and our base lies in ruins. So then what's the plan now, sir? With Carmine responding, first things first. We go and return to Red Pharmaceuticals immediately. To which in the meantime, as this was shown going on, when then venturing on over back onto Beerus' planet, was where similar to that of the film, with Goku and Vegeta shown having to have one last struggle in battling against each other until the very end, was where neither of the two were willing to let up to the other, especially now when having a bit more of an extension to their fight by comparison to that of the film, because it was only during their exchange with both Goku and Vegeta shown exchanging heavy shots against one another, was when Goku then went on to utter, how are you still on your feet? With Vegeta responding, oh, likewise, so just drop to the ground already. Well, in that case, one last clash to decide it all, Vegeta utters with Goku, to which as they were both shown slowly stepping forward, was when comedically enough, both of them were shown having to exchange punches, with Goku's coming up just a tad bit short, and from that point only to have Vegeta be shown taking the lead by nudging Goku in the chest and dropping him on down, in which the very moment with Vegeta being the last of the two being shown standing, with Goku admitting that he had lost, was when Vegeta had now been declared the victor, with Whis having to turn on over following his initial card play with Shilai, as Whis went on to then ask, oh, is that so? Well then I guess I declare Vegeta the victor, with Vegeta uttering, I've done it. At long last, I've bested Kakarot! As one could only imagine as to how long this fight went on, with Shilai looking on over by then responding, oh, so they're finally done? Great, what a couple of numbskulls. It's crazy, don't you agree, Broly? But unfortunately enough, with Broly being shown crying next to Lemo, it only had now appeared as though Broly did agree, with Shilai having to continue, ugh, well that's meant for you, ridiculous, with Whis responding, well, I suppose that I should start repairing the ravaged landscape then. Oops, wait, now where did I leave that thing? Oh, there you are, Whis went on to look on over by his staff and responding, in which with everyone shown having to head back home courtesy of Bulma having to pilot her ship, was when Gohan then went on to tell Pan, well, I haven't realized that Pan's been growing up so much, you know, Piccolo, so maybe I shouldn't keep my nose to the grindstone so much, you know? Well, you don't say, Piccolo questions. Yeah, and you know, I should have taken Pan out and about, like just to the amusement park or something, you know? In which finally enough, with Whis shown having to answer the staff, with Bulma being shown taken back by this, was when Whis then went on to question, well, hello, did you need something, Bulma? Well, you took your sweet time, Whis. Indeed, well, apologies for the delay, Whis responds. Were you reaching out about some delicacy by any chance? With Bulma responding, sure. Yeah, let's go with that, but the food's gone cold, so we'll have to wait until next time, alright? Bye-bye. Oh my, now what could that have been about, Whis questions? As even with Whis now having to be seemingly taken back by the overall news that was delivered, it was only right then and there now during that moment where Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter number 100, the conclusion of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie retelling, then comes to a close. Now, this is finally it after having to redraw and retell the entirety of a movie that I don't think ever should have happened to begin with. The entirety of this retelling in the manga has to be the worst arc and the most boring arc within the Dragon Ball Super manga to begin with, because not only could they have easily skipped over this arc because of the fact that we have a movie, but when going back and taking a look at Shueisha's track record and seeing as to how they skipped over the Battle of Gods movie, the Resurrection F movie, and even Dragon Ball Super Broly, it baffles me to no end as to why they had to go shot for shot and retelling the entirety of the movie for superhero in the form of the arc to begin with. So in my opinion, this has to be the worst arc in the manga and the most boring to begin with, because there was absolutely nothing that has changed narrative wise. There was absolutely nothing that added on to the story that we already knew, especially for those that even went as far as to go see the movie to begin with, with only to have to read up on everything again in the manga, it was completely pointless, even though I do agree in my own assessment to say that the manga depiction is better than that of the film. The one thing that we can all look forward to now is seeing what the next arc has in store within the Dragon Ball Super manga now that this is over and done with. So what I would like to know from you guys down in the comment section below right now are 3 specific things, that being number 1, on a rating scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being absolutely abysmal and with 5 being phenomenal, what would you guys rank Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 100 and why? Question number 2 is, when going into 2024, what is the next arc that you expect to be told within the Dragon Ball Super manga? And lastly, question number 3 is, where exactly on the tier list would you guys rank the superhero manga adaptation, in the form of having to rank that next to the Tournament of Power, the Moro arc, the Granolah arc, and etc. As again, I do want to thank you all so much for your time and thank you all so much for watching, to which once again, if you also just so happen to be new to the channel, then I do encourage for you guys to head on over and smash that subscribe button, on top of giving this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below. Tune back in for so much more. Happy holidays everybody, and happy new year. I hope you guys have a great upcoming new year ahead, as I do also thank you so much for being here, and thank you all so much for giving me your time and having to go through this entire arc to begin with. So with all that out of the way, I want to thank you all once again, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy guys and have a great day. Peace!
Hello! Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi!
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.